surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
3, 2, 1, go!
What?
This is the biggest moment from the weekend.
That's what you want.
Really, even the Rays.
That's what you went with. That was a struggle. Hi, good afternoon. It's a late Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio, and
You
sure.
wanted to watch those infield singles. Well, I guess they weren't infield singles. They were technically all real singles. Those.
I mean, they were all. I mean, look. You want to start with the fact that Jackson Holiday should make that play? Yeah. Jackson Holiday should make that play, no doubt about
Or
it.
I guess I should just use the walk-off Saturday. That was.
What's that?
Just come in with a walk-off from Saturday. That would have been too.
Just pretend like yesterday
just
didn't
pretend
happen.
yesterday didn't happen.
Just pretend
vibes
like it
only.
wasn't the case. Yeah, Pete Alonso, Dylan Beavers go up on the board. I said to Griffin, it's probably an indictment of the system that Pete Alonso and Dylan Beavers have been man of the match the same number of times, but I also think it speaks to just how truly bizarre this season has been, that Pete Alonso, who we know definitively is the most valuable Oriole, has the same number of man of the match honors as Dylan Beavers, who is definitively an Oriole.
It's not Dylan Beaver's fault. All 4 hits that he has on the year.
Correct. They're all walk-offs, right? Yeah, like that's all he does is get walk-offs. But yeah, they're up on the board from the weekend, and the Orioles won the series. And as I said on Twitter yesterday, like it's the easy thing to say is, well, you can't ask for a whole lot more than the Orioles winning a series against the Rays. But the problem is you have to ask for more than that. Like that's the issue at this point. Like there's no joy in taking 2 out of 3 because it requires you to only look at the 2 out of the 3 and then also not think too critically about the 2 out of the 3. To not consider the fact that without the benefit of a ghost runner, the Orioles over their last 18 innings scored 3 total runs. There's just nothing encouraging. There's no trend. There's no commonality. There's nothing that makes you feel good about this team's ability to be the one of this group of teams that can suddenly roll off a stretch of winning baseball. And you can say that, like, hey, well, this is the part of the schedule where, maybe things ease up a little bit, except the Cardinals are better than the Orioles. Like, it requires you to ignore that part in order to be able to have this conversation. And it's, I guess you could look at it and say, well, maybe the Cardinals are, just defeated and they feel out of it because they're 5.5 games out of a playoff spot, but they're better than the Orioles. So why would I feel good about the Orioles going to St. Louis? Like, what about that makes me feel like, well, this is the moment? You want to say, the Athletics and the Rockies are definitively bad baseball teams. Sure, they are. You better win all 6 of them. I mean, that's the position they're in. They can't lose 1 game to a bad team. And it's not me piling on or anything. It's just maybe if they had won, 9-3 on Saturday and it had been a bad luck, 6-5 loss on Sunday, you could come out of it and say, well, look, they scored 19 runs. And They won the series, and I still come out of it like, yeah, but this is kind of who the Orioles are. This is kind of their reality. And if you want to look at their last 3, then they won 2 out of their last 3. And you'd say, okay, that's good. But then if you included the next series, you'd say they've only won 2 out of their last 6. And for, the 7-game homestand, they went 2-5. So stop me when you get to the part that you feel good about.
You said Pete Alonso.
Right, Pete Alonso. We do feel good about Pete. You want to go ahead and just do the thing? You want to just get that out of the way? Got a lot of Orioles today for a team that's not very good. Although
everybody loves them.
One of them is Trey Mancini, so we like
that. 3 up
and 3 down.
3 Up and 3 Down is brought to you by Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel. They've teamed up with PressBox for the best fantasy football draft experience in town. Book your league's draft today. It's just going to cost you $20 per person. And that includes your first beer and your first gourmet hot dog. Plus, they've got great Wi-Fi, so it's not the whole league that's going. It's, folks that are in Colorado or folks that just don't want to show up at your house or something like that. I don't know.
Weirdos.
Those people can jump on virtually, no problem. You can still interact with them. And every commissioner and team gets special prizes and promo items, including a championship ring.
Wow.
Which is dope. And your draft board. So they've got that taken care of for you. Plus, you get the 100-foot media wall during the draft. Think about all the college football the next couple of weekends. Imagine just sitting inside Sports and Social, having your draft, watching college football. You can't do anything better than that. Go to Open Table, then search Sports and Social Maryland and make your reservation. 3 Up and 3 Down for a 2-5 week. Is that the part I'm supposed to feel good about? Stop me when I'm feeling good.
2 wins over the American League Eastern Division winners.
Right. 2-5 week. 2-5 for the week.
Giancarlo Stanton's not coming back, so we're probably catching the Yankees.
Sure. We'll start at the up because obviously the story of the week was the down. So we'll begin with the up. My number 3 is the aforementioned Dylan Beavers. Yes, he only had 4 hits, but 3 of them were home runs, and the other was a walk-off double. So, an effective use of the 4 hits. Dylan Beavers, number 3.
I mean, he could have been number 1, I think.
No, he definitely could not have been number 1.
I had him as number 2. Trevor Rogers was my number 3. I mean, they lost 4 in a row. They needed a good start, and he gave up 3 runs, but he got through the 7 innings as well. And that is what your stopper is supposed to do. So, Trevor Rogers, number 3 for me.
Can't figure out if it's like I just expect more. I don't know. The Trevor Rogers start was just sort of like I mean
it was a good start.
He did give up 7 base runners in 7 innings. I mean, like it was a good start. It was a good start.
The one bad inning. Yeah.
But I couldn't leave Rico Garcia off
Rico
the list
had a really
because Rico was outstanding this week, and I know that Rico's not been great in the second half of the season, but that doesn't mean that I can ignore it. He made 4 appearances for a total of 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, no runs. Rico Garcia was sublime. He's number 2.
Dylan Beavers is my number 2. Can't, I guess if he hits more home runs, I guess that's the only way to have a much better of a week. But yeah, he didn't play a ton, so he had the 4 hits, but all 4 were big ones. So yeah, Beavers.
This one, I mean, look, Pete Alonso was number 1 with a bullet. And carried over. Apparently, it's not just in Tampa that he's good at baseball. He's also good at baseball
everywhere
in Baltimore. So we like that. Yeah, Pete Alonso was an easy choice for number 1.
I thought for sure he's coming through yesterday.
You want me to do the thing? I'll do the thing because I had a couple people messaging me about it actually today over at WBAL. Yeah, I didn't like the cigars either. I didn't like the cigars. Period. I didn't like the cigars. And it's a weird feeling for me because I don't really care if you go smoke cigars. I enjoy cigars. The look was really weird. it looked like you were smoking cigars for having accomplished something. And we all know this team has not accomplished anything. And I like celebrating, and I like enjoying, hey, you can only the only game is the game in front of you, or the only game is the game that occurred, right? Like I'm never going to be down on the idea of people celebrating in general. I like celebrating, but it was a weird look for those guys to go to the dugout. And someone would say, well, that's the only place they can smoke cigars because otherwise they'd be indoors. Like, it's just weird. And remember when Buck was on with us a couple weeks ago and was talking about optics? I think that's what I'm reflecting on. Because am I really offended by, the boys sitting and smoking cigars in the dugout? Not at all. But the optics of it, yeah, problematic. The optics are, we did something. When even winning that game felt like pulling friggin' teeth.
Courtesy of the Baltimore Sun.
Thank you, the Baltimore Sun. I don't like the optics of it. I think you're asking for ridicule. And even it's just, hey, we're all hanging out. Like, let's go. You guys want to, I brought these cigars. You guys want to smoke some cigars, which I do with my friends. That's the thing that I do. Then go somewhere. Like, say, hey, do y'all want to go to someone else's house or whatever? But sitting in, that's the optics of that do look like you're celebrating something, having accomplished something. And nothing has been accomplished. So I get why some of you were in your feelings about it. And you know what? I don't blame you. And I'm not mad at them. I'm not. I wish that someone had said, guys, maybe somewhere else. Maybe. I'm not even kidding about this. If they were sitting in the second section, like if they had gone under the canopy and like we're just sitting out in the stadium, I think it looks different. The optics are different. Sitting in the dugout like that just sort of makes it look like you're celebrating something.
Well, just celebrating, not getting, well, I guess they got swept by the Yankees. So
Yeah.
Getting out of not playing the Yankees anymore. That's what they're celebrating.
So, look, it's a nuanced take, and if any individual part of it gets cut, then it's shared on the internet, then it's like, oh, this guy hates fun, or this guy hates... No, it's just the optics.
All right, I'll cut it that way.
It's just the optics. I don't think it's a good look, and I just think there's someone that's capable of saying, hey, guys, don't put yourself in this spot. Let's just go out, maybe walk down Utah Street or something. Like, let's just go somewhere else and enjoy a cigar with your boys, which who doesn't like to do that?
They're doing it in the Tower, what is it? Navy
Federal Tower Credit
Union.
Splash Corona Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
The
I
Pure
think that would have
Wager.
been, yeah, exactly right. I think that would have been
Pure
the
Wager
spot.
Splash.
3 down. A lot of choices. My number 3 is Yanier Cano, just because Monday was such an unhinged disaster, and it kind of came on the heels of another Yanier Cano. Like, I just think that I got a Yanier Cano thing, and it's difficult. And then he only got one out the rest of the week, so he couldn't make up for it. Number 3.
Yeah, I mean, these were the exact same things I said. Yeah, he was just awful. I mean, he was awful on Monday.
Yep.
Obviously didn't get it out, and didn't really get another chance after that, so Yanier Cano.
Carlos Narvaez is my number 2, and I get it. Like, he's
finding a home here.
Yeah, he's less of a concern. He's less of a concern because Basayo's back, but like, he still went 0 for 12 for the week, and he's 3 for 41 as an Oriole. That ain't good. Carlos Narvaez, number 2.
You got that one right as well.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Look at us. Well, then I got to assume that we shared number 1.
I think so.
It's really weird. Jackson Holiday scored every time he reached base this week.
That seems like a good thing.
Right? He reached base 4 times.
Okay.
In 29 plate appearances, which, by the way, is just a staggering number of plate appearances. Like, it's almost amazing that someone can have that many plate appearances in a week. 29 plate appearances, reach base 4 times. Now, again, for what it's worth, he did score all 4 times. Go figure.
This happens when you have Pete Alonso hitting at
It
you.
does help.
Yeah.
But for all of the good, for all of the, like, feelings that we were having, like maybe things were turning the corner for Jackson Holiday, it's just not only that he was bad offensively, but then,
Something to be desired on
the other thing. Like then chance to get out of an inning, a ground ball to second base, and why did my glove stop working? It's just tough. Jackson Holiday, number 1.
Yeah, 3 for 28. The OPS like 200 or something, 250.
Yep.
It's not good. Not good.
Bad all around. That's 3 up and 3 down for the week. We'll get it up at glennclarkradio.com. And they got another week. They're going to go play baseball again. And if at some point they if they go to St. Louis and sweep the series and then go to Sacramento or wherever it is that the Athletics play, this nebulous location that may or may not exist, if they go there and they win 5 out of 6 this week, then we'll have an appropriate conversation about a team that's won 5 out of 6. But I can only work with what I've got, and what I've got is they're not good enough. They're not a good enough baseball team. It would also help to have a lefty reliever. Like, it would help to have someone that you trust. The late Brian Mattis is, for everything he wasn't as a pitcher, you sure trusted him to. You need a spot where you just got to get a lefty out. You're out of the inning. You trusted it. It would be nice to have someone like that on this team, someone that you could trust in those spots. And maybe there's an argument that you don't go get your lefty relievers. That you just say, whatever the circumstance is, they're not making it better. So we are going to leave them alone. And this is just kind of what it is. They're a baseball team that's just kind of not quite good enough. And it's a shame. If it somehow does end up changing, we'll respond to that and react to that appropriately when it changes. But they are running out of time. And I continue to believe that at minimum, I think still 83 wins is the minimum. I think someone's getting there. And I get that every day that goes by that someone's not there, we keep saying to ourselves,
Does the AL West winner even finish?
I understand. Well, the Astros, everything's such a disaster. They fired Dana Brown today. First place.
That'll help.
First place in the AL West, and they just fired the general manager. I get it. Like, I understand why you asked that question. I truly do. But I still believe it's going to take 83. In order to get into the postseason, we will see. We'll see if somebody's got it in them. All right, we continue along here on a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio, and do I ever love seeing this guy's face? Last week, he made it official after getting back to the bigs earlier this season and, proving to everybody he could still hit. I got some questions about why phone calls didn't come in. I'm sure he does too. But he's decided that's going to be that, and what a career it was for our friend and Orioles legend, Trey Mancini, who's back with us now here on GCR. Trey, what's going on, brother? It's great to see you. Thank you for taking the time, and congratulations on an awesome career.
Thanks, Glenn. I really appreciate it, man. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. It's I'm so glad. I'm going to say this phrase, right? Because what it feels like is you got the ability to say, I'm going to do this on my terms, right? That's what it feels like. And maybe you would say that you still, because I just alluded to, like, hey, why didn't more phone calls come in? Maybe there's still some frustration there, but how much easier is it to do this after getting back, kind of proving that all of the work was worth it?
It was much easier, and that's why I didn't retire over the last 2 to 3 years when I, quite frankly, considered myself retired a lot of that time. I just didn't want that finality to happen yet in the off chance that somebody called, reached out, and I thought that I could still play. So it definitely made it easier getting up this year. It was just a really cool full circle moment to make it back up to the majors, to play in front of my daughter. And I knew after I got DFA'd and nobody called that I was going to be done, but I just wanted a little bit of time to pass before announcing it. So it feels good, and I'm so happy with how everything turned out, even though the journey wasn't exactly what I thought it would be, especially the last 3 years. That's baseball, that's sports, and that's life. That's how it goes. So, I'm just thankful it kind of got to end that way.
You did you deal with more of the frustration? Was it was it easier this time when the calls didn't come in, or did you still find yourself saying, "Dude, what the hell? I got back to the bigs. I showed I could still hit. What? Why isn't my phone ringing?" Like,
I think after experiencing it a couple times, so after spring training at 24 with the Marlins, they pretty much told me I was going to play once or twice a week in AAA. So I didn't want to do that. I thought that somebody would call. Nobody called. So at that point, I thought I was done. And then the next offseason, I had been hitting with the hope of coming back. The Diamondbacks luckily got me back into the game. And then 3 months into the season, I was, tearing it up. I was playing as well as I ever have, and thought that an opportunity would come up. So I opted out, and then no calls came again, and thought I was done until the Angels hired Brady, and he got me back in. And I knew this time, I am another year older, and I just knew that it probably wasn't going to happen. So I had accepted it. So it wasn't hard for me, just because I knew that was going to happen. I just wanted to ride out being in the majors as long as I could. And it was such a fun experience. And like I said, so cool to be up there. But I expected it. So there was no bitterness or regret, really, because I knew that it was going to happen like that. I did.
That's wild. I appreciate being able to be at peace with that. Just be like, hey, man, it is what it is. That's the way that it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Trey, I feel like that's kind of going to dovetail in, like, the thing that I keep thinking about, right? There's so many what ifs about your career, right? Like, there's, what if you don't get cancer? What if there's no pandemic situation? What if the Orioles aren't going through a rebuild? And, like, I feel like there's so many questions that it would be easy to ask. You had an awesome career by any measurement of a normal human being, but there were moments where it looked like you might be ready for a prodigious type of career, and being an all-star and being at that level. Like, how have you measured those things and dealt with those what ifs as you've looked at everything that has happened over the course of the last decade?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I was kind of asked this last week at one point, and the best way to put it is, if you gave me a perspective from when I got drafted in 2013 in the 8th round, I wasn't sure if I was going to sign or go back to Notre Dame for my senior year. And if you told me how my career would have panned out, the good and the bad, everything, I would have done it all over again. I would have taken it 100 times out of 100 at that point. If you go to February of 2020 and tell me how the rest of my career is going to pan out, I wouldn't have believed it for a second. I would have said, there must have been a massive injury or something that happened. And basically there was. So, things weren't quite the same after that. And there's a lot of what ifs, but the way I look at it is, if I wasn't playing baseball, I wouldn't have survived longer than a year or two max from when I got diagnosed in 2020, with how fast my cancer was growing. I had a mutation that was making it grow more rapidly. That's why I didn't have any physical symptoms at the time either. It just all was happening so quickly before it really showed up. So having that blood test in spring training saved my life. So, I'll take some struggles after that and the career trajectory changing if it means that you get to live a full life. And, you'll take that every day of the week. So it makes it a lot easier to not ask those what if questions, because 2016 to 2019 were pretty good. And heading into the 2020 season, I had no worries in the world and was as confident as I could possibly be. So, the world, my world came crashing down after that, and definitely changed me in a lot of ways, and a lot of them in good ways looking back too. So I'm thankful for everything that's happened in my life.
Trey Mancini with us here on GCR. I wonder, I feel like it would have been easy to be bitter at baseball. Like, I feel like when you were going through a lot of this, it would have been easier for you to take that out on the sport. And we talk a lot about it being, a sport of failure. I was talking with Colton about it last week, right? Like, he's obviously been through this quite a bit. Why didn't it become, like, you were hell-bent, I'm not giving up on baseball. I'm going to keep working my ass off to play baseball. Why was there never that bitterness towards the sport? How did you maintain the love and the passion for the sport despite the fact that it wasn't maybe paying you back the way that you probably were deserved?
I think for the most part, because I credited it with saving my life, I owed it to myself and my teammates and the city and everybody to keep playing. Like, if I'm physically able to keep playing baseball, I'm going to. But there were a lot of hard days in there, 21 through 2023. I was caught a lot between being thankful that I was alive and then being bitter that it happened to me. And I didn't feel like exactly the same hitter and baseball player that I was before. I couldn't explain it, but something was just a tick off and never quite clicked. Beforehand, I had this confidence that never ever wavered. Even when I had, rough halves of a season or rough seasons, the confidence deep down never wavered until that all happened. But, I knew that I had to keep going and figure out how to be the best baseball player that I could with my new reality. And, I wanted to inspire a lot of people too, that go through things like this, that you can keep, you can quit or you can keep plugging forward and keep trying to accomplish your goals, even if you have to change your perspective of what those goals are.
I always wonder, like, were you prepared for that part of it, Trey? Because I remember talking to you then, and I couldn't get the sense of, you became this sort of larger than life inspirational figure after that point. And to that point, you had kind of just been a ball player, right? Like, just a guy, really affable, likable guy, but for the most part, just a ball player. Were you ready for, I don't know if burden is the right word, but were you ready for how much, like, hope you were carrying for other people that had gone through things in the aftermath of that when you were still trying to kind of just be a ball player?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't hard for me for the inspiration aspect. I was so happy to do it and thankful to be in that position. But from my own personal journey, I was still really worried about my health those first couple years out of it too. You're worried about it coming back, and if it does, your prognosis is really rough. So that was in the back of my mind the whole time, and probably the main reason that the performance wasn't always consistent was, mentally it was in the back of my head like a dark cloud all the time. So it was a heavy burden, and at certain times, I'd say 2021 was tougher than actually going through chemo, and that year was, weirdly enough, just because I was back trying to be the same baseball player that I was 2 years before.
But hitting 35 home runs, right? Yeah,
and it was really hard on me. I think that I wasn't, and it was a lot to balance, and it took until 2024, being away from the game, thinking I was retired, to kind of reflect, get over that, and also look in the mirror and think about what I could have maybe handled better, done differently. But it's also hard to do that too, because in the moment, like I said, you're just so worried about your health, and it's this indescribable worry that's always with you, and you can't escape. It's a very difficult position to be in.
That's a terrifying thought, but I'm so glad that you were able to kind of find that peace, and how to handle it. And we're glad that it didn't come back. Let's keep it that way.
Time is like the biggest healer in these things, unfortunately, like sometimes, but yeah, it's time.
When I say this, it's going to sound maybe like a backhanded compliment. I think you know what I'm saying. So I think we've known each other long enough that I can speak it this way.
Absolutely.
I introduce you as an Orioles legend because it's true. That's the way that we treat you. I say that knowing that you had some good years on some bad teams. Like, it's not Trey Mancini playoff hero of it's I hope that you understand what I'm saying. What does that feel like that you have become this beloved figure that has been so supported by this city despite it not being, you weren't AL MVP, you weren't, leading the league in home runs, you weren't. Have you been able to kind of compartmentalize how unlikely it is that someone with your career became such a beloved figure and is legitimately treated like a legend in this city?
It means the world to me, and I don't think I would have had the career with any other team if I was drafted by anybody else. The Orioles were a perfect fit for me. They really were, and I loved every second of being in the minor league system, and I had such an identity of being an Oriole. When I got called up in 2016, what really inspired me was that group of guys that had been there and really turned the franchise around. Buck had been there for years at that point, and he had been with all those guys like Darren O'Day, Trumbo had just come over, CD, Jonesy, Zach Britton, Tommy Hunter. I can go down the list. Brad Brach. They all were, I think, in their own ways, maybe overlooked at other places. And they kind of all got to Baltimore and found a home there and had a lot of success there and brought the team back to prominence. And that really inspired me when I got called up because they treated me so well. I wanted to be a part of that. And even in those rough years, I remembered what it was like to be on that really good team in 2016. And I wanted nothing more than to get the Orioles back to that point. That was always on the forefront of my mind. I wanted to be in Baltimore when we were good again. And that really drove me, I think, the whole time. And the fans always still were at the games. They paid so much attention. They knew all the guys on the team and details about them that maybe other fan bases wouldn't have when the team wasn't playing so well, but they stayed locked in and stayed with us the whole time. And that really meant a lot to me. So I wanted to show them love back by going out there and playing hard every night, no matter what the score was or how our season was going.
Man, I appreciated that about that group, and I appreciated the influence that it had on you. Knowing you're at, how personable you are, knowing obviously, you certainly your wife has a lot of connections in this industry. My first thing that I said last week was Trey's got to be doing TV. Like, he has to be doing TV. Is that a thought for you in this next phase of your life?
I wouldn't mind. I would love to, at least on a part-time basis. It keeps you around the game while, the schedule's grueling, as everybody knows, and it's even tougher on coaches. So I'm not exactly sure if that's a route I'd want to go, at least right now. But TV, I want to stay locked into the sport and engaged. And I think that's a great way to do it while also providing some knowledge and giving people insight onto how the game is played and your experience being a player. So it's something that I would have interest in. And I started public speaking a little bit too before the Angels called me this year.
Wow.
And I really enjoyed it a lot. So that's something I'd like to break back into.
You've got a decent story to tell. I mean, I imagine it works. Was that difficult for, again, you've always been so good in interviews, I would think, but it's such a different setting, man. Like, nobody understands that.
It was probably my biggest fear growing up, doing a presentation in front of my class or speaking in front of even 5 people that I didn't know. Was always very daunting to me, and I'd always be shaking speaking in front of them. So it's a fear that I kind of wanted to conquer. It was a new challenge. But it's something, if it's like baseball, if you practice it enough and you master it, then that goes away. And it's a cool new challenge, I guess you would say. And the story ends a little differently now than when I told it earlier this year too, which is pretty cool, because the ending before was like, I gave it my best shot to make it up and it wasn't in the cards. So it would be fun to do it again with a different ending.
That's pretty good. I like that. Anything else, or is it just like, let's be a dad, let's be a husband?
Yes. Being a dad is the best thing ever. Our daughter's 10 months old now, so we're in the thick of it. She's got some energy. She is the cutest, sweetest girl in the world, but there's no relaxing on the couch. There's no breaks. We are watching her at all times when she's up.
Are you all in your girl dadness? Like, are you going to be the type that, like, you know, at some point there's going to be a video of you posted where you're like dressed up as a princess because she wanted you to? Like, are you?
Probably, yeah. I'm wrapped around her finger already, so I'm sure she will. You know, I probably can't. I can't say no to her.
I get it, man.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't have a girl. I got 2 boys, so I didn't have to worry about these things, right? Like, I was the guy when, like, you know, I knew my wife was upset. I was like giving the thumbs up to the I'm like,
yeah, whatever makes her happy, I'm probably gonna do it.
Man, I respect everything about that. Respect everything about the girl dad stuff, man. Trey, you know how we feel. Like, you know how loved you are in the city. You know that, like, you will be able to come back here forever, and it will be nothing but hugs and love and appreciation. I'm so glad that you got to do it, and having proved that you could still do it, that you were capable of it. And how about we just, you know, have another conversation in a few weeks? We just talk baseball. All
right, yeah, sounds good. If you got, I'll come on as a as a guest whenever you'd like.
Dude,
I'll try to follow along and give you what I got.
I love that, man. I love everything about it. Grateful for you, brother. Grateful for the career you've had. And I
appreciate your support over the years. I remember in Bowie in 2015 was you were
we were excited about you too, man. Like, we really were excited. We were like, this dude, he looks like he's a little bit different. Like,
you're like, this guy, he'll never walk, but he will hit.
Oh, man. Trey, you're the best. Love you, man. Happy for you. Give the best to Sarah. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See you, buddy. Trey Mancini. What else do you say? What do you say? Like, some guys, they're just really good guys. You're happy for everybody that, you know, comes here and plays here and, you know, has a good run. You're grateful for all of them. But when it's Trey Mancini, when it's someone who so constantly went above and beyond, and it just is the best dude. I mean, I got choked up watching this stuff from earlier this year. Like, I really did. I was emotional. I was in tears. Trey getting back to baseball and you know, having a huge night in his first night back. I get emotional just having conversations with him. He's just awesome. And he's everything that you could ask for in a representative of a team that you love. God, I'm happy for Trey. I'm happy for Trey. And, you know, it's a no-brainer to me that he should be doing TV. Like, what an easy call that is for anybody in this business. Like, I get it. Maybe he doesn't have the, the super brand name of some guys, but he's a hell of a player. And his story carries a lot of weight, and he's really good at this. So I would think someone should scoop him up immediately and have him doing that. We'll come back in. We'll talk about where the Orioles find themselves. Brad Brach, former Orioles reliever, one of those guys that Trey Mancini was just talking about. He'll join us next. Glenn Clark Radio.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, When you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
Don't fumble your fantasy football draft. Host your party at Sports and Social inside Live Casino. We've got everything you need to make the night a winner with massive screens, cool drinks, great food, and Wi-Fi that won't drop the ball. Reserve your table by August 20th to enter our early draft bonus drawing. Draft like a pro at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, Antonio Barbera dives into the effect that new Ravens coach Jesse Minter can have on the team. How does a rookie head coach handle the challenges facing a team with championship aspirations? Also inside, we help kick off fall sports season at the collegiate level. You'll learn the stories of significant college football and college soccer athletes from programs all over the state, including Navy quarterback Braxton Woodson and Maryland safety Jaden Ships. PressBox is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and college sports.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Monday edition of the program. Oh, boy. Today's show is also brought to you by CountySports.Zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer, and buyatoyota.com. Everything you need to know. High school sports season is officially underway. It's crazy, right? I think Spalding football played last week. It's underway. Well, a lot of schools actually went back today. I know Baltimore County didn't, but, I think the city went back today. I don't remember schools ever going back 2 weeks before Labor Day. But you get the point. The point is high school sports season underway. And everything you need to know about football and all the other fall sports, scores, schedules, rankings, the whole deal. You can find it by going to CountySports.Zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and by atoyota.com. Yes, the Browns officially named Deshaun Watson their starting quarterback today. Makes a lot of sense when you consider what was it going to matter no matter what they did.
Todd Monken's a player's coach, and
I get it. It's an awkward look for everybody that was following the drama of the Browns this weekend and Deshaun Watson getting booed on Saturday and then going in on the fans afterwards. I think there was something, I think it was Rappaport. Let me make sure I have who it was that reported it, that said it, what felt like the most appropriate way for it to be said. Well, maybe it was actually Albert Breer. I never remember where anybody is anymore. Where's Breer these days? What is he doing?
Is he with Netflix or no? It's Pelissero's with Netflix.
Yeah, Pelissero's at Netflix and I believe The Ringer. And Breer
is. We talk about movies with Bill
Simmons. Breer's still at SI. He's still at SI. He reported that the decision for the Browns came down to the full body of work. Deshaun Watson was better and more consistent over time before a tough day Saturday and practiced well against the Bills on Thursday. The other thing I've said all along, it's easier to go from Watson to Sanders than the other way around. If this doesn't work, Cleveland can pivot. And I sort of understand what he's saying. I sort of get it, which is you choose this. Nobody's really all that interested in seeing Deshaun Watson at any point. But by choosing Watson, there could still be momentum for a flip to Shedeur Sanders. There still could be excitement from the fan base and let's see the other kid. If you do it the other way around, then basically you're burying Deshaun Watson, which, a lot of people would argue is what you should do, but they are still paying him a lot of money. And there is also a weird, structure about what they still owe him, because if they were to release him after the year and designate him a post-June 1st, then they could split the money over 2 seasons, and it'd be like $30 million that he cost them next year and then $50 the year after that against the cap. But that's still a lot of money. So even though you could say, hey, it's time for them to just give up and cut bait, I still understand why that is at least a factor in a decision like this. But is it going to work? No. Was it going to work if they picked Shedeur? No. It's the Cleveland Browns. It's not, whatever it is, it's not going to work. Joining us now, he, of course, a former Orioles all-star reliever, and now you see him and hear him hosting Birdland Territory as part of the Foul Territory Network. He is our friend, Mr. Brad Brach, and he's back with us once again on GCR. Brad, it's Glenn. It's great to chat with you and appreciate. I figured you would join us and you could break down the Browns quarterback decision, correct?
Yeah, you had me. I was listening in there. That's some good info for fantasy football season coming up.
If you're drafting any Cleveland Browns, that is
true.
It's just a mistake in general. Just a mistake. Even when Quinshawn Judkins slides a little bit, you're like, but he's still a Brown. It's just it's what it is. Brad,
come December, it's 10 degrees out and the snow and everything there. So
yeah, there's actually, I took my kids to Cleveland for a game in November last year because they were playing the Ravens, and the tickets were so cheap that we got 4 tickets for the family right down front for the same price that a single ticket to in the upper deck to a Ravens game would cost.
Yeah.
So I want to continue to thank the folks in Cleveland. Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brad, the Orioles do win the series, and that's not nothing, and I don't want to pretend that we should be utterly dismissive of it, but it's tricky because it comes tell me what it is you're looking at. Are you looking at the fact they won 2 out of 3, or you could also look at the fact that they've won 2 of their last 7, and I feel like that's the bigger problem right now, is that short of them going on a serious torrid stretch of winning baseball games, it's really tough to view them as a viable, legitimate contender, because we just have a large sample size and body of work that says this is who they are. They're just a really inconsistent baseball team.
Yeah, I think that's kind of, at this point, it's probably the fans' frustration and just kind of watching this team all year long. It's just, you don't know what team you watch. So sometimes those 3 games in Tampa, you're thinking, here it is. They're going to turn around. They're going to score 7 runs a game. And then next thing you know, they lose 5 in a row or whatever it was, 4 in a row. And they're back to, like you said, 2 of their last 9 games they've won. So you just don't know which team you're watching all season long. And I think that's been the frustrating part, is because when you do see the good, it's in there, and this team could be more than what it is. But at the same time, they just can't seem to get on a roll and be consistent enough. But after that's all said and done, they still have a shot at the playoffs.
Right.
So who the heck knows with the American League this year? It's been a crazy, wonky season. So like you said, they're 1 winning streak away from being legitimately right back in the playoffs, and it's just kind of hard to believe when you actually look at the standings.
No, it's almost a miracle, right? It's funny because going into this week they're playing the Cardinals, and you're treating the Cardinals as if they're out of it. They're basically dead, right? And yet they're 5 games better than the Orioles. They're notably better than the Orioles are, and yet they're dead, and the Orioles are still very much alive. That's it's kind of baseball.
That's the parity between the American and National League right now. It doesn't make any sense. I wish our Orioles teams, man, I wish we had a couple of shots to get into the playoffs where we were just over 500 or a couple of games below, because how those teams were, if they got hot, you never know what could happen. So it's going to be interesting, and I really don't. I think it's going to come down to the final game, and I really think we might see a team get in the playoffs under 500 the first time in history of baseball.
I'm still not buying it, Brad. I still feel like
me neither. I am trying to wrap my head around the fact that it's not going to happen, but at the same time, there could be somebody 81-81 or 80-82 get in. It's a possibility at this point, which just blows my mind.
The mid keep getting midder. You aren't wrong about that. Let's talk about a couple of topics to me that are relevant. The first is, and I mentioned it to Griffin earlier, and I feel like you can give context to it. There's lots of things to be frustrated about this Orioles team by. But I feel like the thing that is the most puzzling of all the things to be frustrated about is how they haven't had a reliable left-handed reliever to turn to. So, like, I understand yesterday nothing's going right. You want to get Boz out of there, but you want to get in a lefty that you're confident can just get you out of the inning, limit the damage. We're going to be asking a lot of the bullpen, but that's what we're going to have to do. And Wolfram certainly had some moments early on in the year, but I don't know that you'd ever say was definitively this type of guy. How puzzling is it to you that, like, they've just not had that guy, and how much it really does seem to have hurt them to have not been able to have the confidence of turning it over to someone who you knew was going to get your lefty out, get you out of the inning, and keep you fighting?
Yeah, no, it is kind of crazy. I like I said, I've been following this team all year long, but I honestly didn't think about the fact that there hasn't been, like a high leverage lefty reliever in it until you just like kind of put in that kind of context. And it is true. I think it's very odd, especially in this day and age of baseball, to not have a lefty that's a high relief, high leverage guy. And it just kind of is, it's crazy that they don't have that guy they can go to. Like you said, when you're in the middle innings there and it's not going great, but at the same time, you don't want it to turn into 3-0 or, go from 1-0 to 2-0. And they don't have that guy to turn to. They have a lot of guys that they trust as righties that can get lefties out. But it is crazy to think you can go through a season in 2026 without you having a lefty it's a shutdown lefty that is going to get you out of that inning. And it's been one of those kind of spots all year where they've been trying different guys and just haven't been able to really find it.
And ironically, the other lefty they had, right, in Keegan Aiken, was a reverse splits guy. Like, he just sort of wasn't really that guy either. Staying on the bullpen, Brad, they look. It looks like Felix Bautista's going to be returning. He did pitch over the weekend. It didn't look great. I mean, the velocity you don't think is. I doubt he's going to be touching 100 anytime soon. But like, what could Felix Bautista do if indeed, like, he's back on this team before the end of the month? Like, what is reasonable to expect of him? What kind of workload do you give someone who's really not pitched a ton for now a large period of time that we're talking about?
Yeah, I think the expectations for Felix this year, I think, should just be to get him through the season healthy. For me, elbow surgery is one thing, but then have it back it up with a shoulder surgery is just really tough. And I think at this point, it's just getting him to the end of the season healthy, getting him at X amount of outings, and just kind of whatever he gives you, whether it's great outings or if it's bad outings, as long as he comes out healthy, that's a great thing. And I think moving forward, especially next season and seasons after this, if you can get Felix Bautista fully 100% healthy and able to help this bullpen, it's going to make it tremendous. And I think it's just kind of one of those things where I don't even know if you can expect anything from him this season. And even if he gets called back up to Baltimore, I just wouldn't expect him to be a high leverage, big time arm for them, because I really think when he gets there, it's going to be more about pitching him. Like, if you want to pitch him Monday, Friday, I think it's going to be very, very scheduled kind of outings. And it's not going to be a back-to-back kind of day, kind of outing type thing. I just think it's going to be one of those really, really on top of it, make sure he's healthy and get him to the next outing kind of thing.
Yeah, that seems, I think, all fit. Like, it's almost like you're putting him in purposely, like a clean 7th inning or something like that. Or, like, it feels like his usage is really, to your point, just about getting the work in and almost nothing other than that.
Yeah, it's almost like I would almost look at it as like a spring training type thing where like you said, you want to get him the work, but you're not going to put him in a 40-pitch inning. You're not going to put him multiple innings. You're not going to throw him back to back. I just think it's one of those things where you just want to get him fully healthy, and so he can have a full off season of pitching and getting ready for next year and just be fully ready to go next spring training. That would be my biggest thing with him.
Can a team continue to carry 3 catchers when 2 are basically non-options offensively? Like, you can't use them as pinch hitters at all. Like, is that too much of a tax on your bench and your options as a manager late in the game when you're just carrying someone on your bench who just can't help you as a bat?
Yeah, I think it gets tough when you have three guys that you know are capable of catching. And I really think it's going to come down to what the Orioles want to do with Basayo. Are they going to have him catch a bunch of games and then have one of those guys be a true backup? Or are they going to want him to DH? Are they going to want him to play some first base too to get Pete off his feet? I just think it's going to come down to that. And if you are able to move Basayo around, maybe they'll keep three catchers so that they're able to use pinch hitters later in the games, which they like to do, and find the right matchups. But I just think it is tough to keep three catchers on there when, like you said, the two guys are very good behind the plate. They just don't provide a lot offensively. And right now you're really struggling to score runs on a consistent basis. So for me, I just feel like you got to get your best offense out there every single day, regardless of what your roster makeup is for this team.
I do wonder too, like, because I think what you're alluding to is it feels almost macro micro, which is like in the micro, this is about figuring out. I feel like in the macro, if you're not committed to Samuel Basayo as being a 120 game type of catcher, it feels like you've got to identify a backup catcher who is going to be more of an offensive threat, like that you're gonna. And I know it's funny because they just traded Adley Rutschman and they kind of had that scenario, right? Yeah. But like I just don't think you can carry this many guys that are kind of no bats.
Yeah. I just think like you said, it just gets tough for the roster when you have guys that you see both as defensive catchers. So they're either batting an 8 or 9 slot, and then from there it's kind of trying to figure out what you're going to do later in the game. And I just think it handcuffs you at this point in the season when you have to win every single game. I just feel like it handcuffs you when you're trying to find the perfect lineup every single day. And if you're trying to make up for, a position that isn't living up to the offensive production that you're looking for, now you're really behind the 8 ball. And I just feel like it gets tough to continue to do this over and over for the rest of the 30 some odd games they have left.
I think it's almost impossible, right? Sell me on how it happens, Brad. Sell me on how the Orioles become the team that breaks out of this group of mid. How does we can say the schedule's easing up, and like it, to an extent it is, but as we mentioned, the Cardinals are 5 games better than the Orioles, right? How does it happen? How does this team suddenly find that groove in the final 2 months of the season, or month and a half?
I'll preface this with saying I've been wrong every single time I've given a prediction or what I think might happen with them here coming up. But I really think it has to come down to the offense scoring 5 more runs or more. I think the pitching staff has really proven that to this point that they're going to get quality starts. They're going to have enough guys in the bullpen somehow to piece it all together to get to the end of the game. But it's really, I just feel like the burden is going to fall on the offense here to get them over the hump and to get them out of this relative mid of the league right now. And we saw it in Tampa that the capability is there. They just have not been able to show that for a 10, 12, 15 game span. And I really think that's what's going to take at this point. I think it's going to take a 10-5, 13-2, some kind of run like that to really get themselves out of this mix here and control their destiny the rest of the way. And I really just think it just comes down to the guys that you expect to produce, the Gunnar Henderson, the Dylan Beavers, the Cowser, all these guys that you see flashes of it. They just really have to come to the forefront, start hitting the ball, and give Pete some help, because Pete's been doing a tremendous job this whole season. And if they're able to get on base, Pete's going to knock them in. And it's just going to take a collective effort at this point. I don't know how else to explain it otherwise. Hopefully I did a good job.
No, I think that I get it. That's what it's going to take. It's ironic because Griffin and I were talking earlier, and to your point, Jackson Holliday reached base. Every time he reached base last week, he scored. Unfortunately, it was just 4 times. Unfortunately, he only reached base 4 times, but Pete got him home. Brad, you want to remind everybody about Birdland Territory?
Yeah, Birdland Territory. We just had a good episode today with Ben McDonald. I just talked about his broadcasting and just kind of deep dove down into it all, and it was a great episode. So go check it out on Birdland Territory, YouTube, anywhere you can get your podcast.
Brad, always appreciate you, brother. Thanks for spending the time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Brad Brach with us here on GCR. I hate to sound so dismissive, but like I'm kind of almost out on talking points. I've realized that as we were having that conversation, like it feels like every week there's a couple of Orioles-related talking points.
Unless we're gonna like fire the manager or general manager.
And the reality is at this point, like they're not going to do that on. I know the Astros just did. I'm aware, but they're not going to do that on.
We're trying to be Astro
Thank
Ball,
you. That's
right?
a great point. Well, if they did that, then they wouldn't be trying to be Astro Ball. It's August 24th. I just said like it's so funny when I said to him 2 months, and I'm like, it's not even a month and a half. It's a month and a week.
A month and 3 days. Yeah, final day of the season is September 27th.
Like that's it. I'm out of talking points. All I have left is they either are or they aren't. And everything points towards they aren't. As I keep saying,
that there's 8 other teams
that also haven't.
Yeah.
And so yes, if they do, but the rest of the league is not going to be what makes me believe in the Orioles. I don't believe that this team has it in them. But I can't predict the future. If I could, I probably would have maybe I would have just been like, you know what? I've seen the future. I'm good. Y'all have fun. Enjoy your time. If they go to St. Louis and they sweep the Cardinals, or win 2 out of 3 in St. Louis and sweep the Rockies, and they have a 5-1 week, and they wake up, and at that point they'd probably be right back into like a tie for a playoff spot. Then we'll react to that. But I can't pretend like I think there's some outside force that's changing it. I am interested in seeing an Enrique Bradfield and maybe a return of a Heston Kjerstad. It's kind of crazy to me they haven't brought back Heston Kjerstad. Like it's just kind of nutty that a player they've got to make a decision about that they haven't wanted to see him at the bigs. Like, you have to make a decision about Heston Kjerstad. It's wild to me. I don't know. I got lots of thoughts. But I'm out on talking points. I'm out on here's what could change it. I don't think anything could change it. It really is wild how they've just not had a lefty they could count on. And it's not, God bless him, Wolfram tried, right? Like, he tried, but he was never that guy. He was a guy that, outkicked his coverage a little bit and look, but he was never that guy. That's crazy. Of all the things that we can indict the front office for, like, that's nuts. How did that happen? I got nothing else. Like, I really am just kind of tapped out on talking points. It's just go play the games. If you win them, we'll react. If not, then we got to have the end of season conversations. We'll get to those. And maybe that was kind of the nice part about last year is that we already kind of knew those were coming. It is frustrating that, like, this year we keep having to wait for, like, but maybe in order to have that conversation, because there's going to be a Mike Elias conversation. Like, there has to be. But, like, it is also kind of nuts to me that the Astros really did that. Like, that really is crazy. Like, why? How does that help you?
Does that inspire?
Yeah, how does that help you on the baseball
the Red Sox
field?
and Phillies turned it around.
Because there was a manager.
Right, that's what I mean. Like,
because a manager at least is there, and obviously both of those teams you would say definitively underperformed, and so maybe there was going to be a correction to the mean even if they hadn't fired their manager, right? Like, maybe those teams were too good for that to have continued no matter what. But at least that person, you can say, has some impact. And, obviously in Philadelphia in particular, they went with, like, someone that had been there, done that. Something that I think a lot of us believe that other teams should have maybe considered in their own managers. So that plays a role. The Red Sox went the other way, so you can't You can't pretend like that's definitive proof that you just need to go get a veteran manager, because the Red Sox turned it over to just the guy. Like, here was they kind of, can I say it out loud? They kind of turned it over to their Tony Mansolino. And it's just that their Tony Mansolino was a little bit better than the Tony Mansolino that we had at home. So, is Chad Tracy going to be AL Manager of the Year, by the way? I assume he has to be, doesn't he? Like, who are the even? It's just him or Cash.
Or who's the White Sox manager?
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess that. Yeah.
It's not Grady Sizemore. Right?
No, it's Venable.
Yeah. Okay. See who's
Yeah, that I guess I think about that. He probably would be the Manager of the Year. Although the turnaround was so insane under Tracy, like they're gonna go from being the worst team in the AL East to being maybe, I guess,
Venable is the odds-on favorite.
He's on the odds-on favorite. I mean, just because he's managed the whole season, and it is the White Sox.
Then Chad Tracy, then Kevin Cash.
No, those are
four.
the
I mean,
only.
Yeah, it's the four, and then Aaron Boone, and the 4 teams.
But how could Aaron Boone be Manager of the Year?
Because he's over 500.
I mean, that's just saying there's only 4 good teams.
He did it without Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah. What are the odds? Hang on. What are the odds change from? Give me. You said it was
minus 190. Tracy plus 280. Kevin Cash.
I'm a little bit surprised that it isn't closer between Venable and Tracy. And then you said Cash was
plus 450.
Okay, if Cash is plus 450,
yeah, what do you think Boone is?
Then Boone shouldn't be anything more than at best plus 900.
Yeah, it's way lower than that. Plus 6,000.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So he's not really in the conversation.
But they're offering odds for it.
Thank you. But he's
the Yankees. I mean, I guess you have to, because the Yankees fans are gonna give money.
Yeah,
to be but like, oh, it's gonna be.
But stop it. I mean, like, there's no argument for Aaron Boone.
Who's your National League Manager of the Year? This one is wide open.
Yeah,
that's bet somebody.
I would still say it should be Pat Murphy, right? Like,
he is not the odds-on favorite.
Really?
He is by just 50 points. Someone's a little bit higher.
Is it Mattingly?
No, Mattingly is also plus 350. Pat Murphy's plus 350. The leader, the favorite, is plus 300.
Weiss?
Walt Weiss.
That's dumb.
After did they just get swept by Milwaukee?
Yeah, I think they did. That's dumb.
They have to bet Pat Murphy again.
Like, how is it not?
Back-to-back.
How is it possibly not Pat Murphy? Like, come on, man. What are we doing? If you want to say, like, hey, the Brewers.
Maybe if Dave Roberts finds a way to get the Dodgers the 1 seed,
ekes them in somehow.
Like, what impressive job that he's done.
What are we doing here? Why? Look at the Brewers roster. Tell me why it is that they're just supposed to be good.
Joey Ortiz.
Like, come on, man.
Andrew Vaughn, Jake Bowers.
I don't understand that at all. Like, even a little bit.
Joey Ortiz has been playing well lately.
Good for Joey Ortiz. I'm not trying to go war on Joey Ortiz. And, like, I get that the Brewers were good last year, but it's not like they were good last year and then they brought in all of this, like, fortification.
Like a Freddie Freeman and a Mookie Betts.
Yeah. Like, to me, it's noteworthy that Pat Murphy has continued to guide them despite the fact that, like, the Brewers organization doesn't appear to be all that interested in.
They lead baseball. They lead all of MLB in on-base percentage, chase rate. They are second in walk rate, third in stolen bases, and they have the most sacrifice bunts.
What are we doing? Pat Murphy should absolutely be the Manager of the Year in the National League. All right, but it all has to be narrative, and because they were good last year,
nobody cares.
Right?
Shohei's not going to win.
They were good, and he was. Was he last year? He was last year, right?
He was definitely 24.
He was back-to-back, yeah. He was back-to-back manager.
So
it just feels like it's voter like, well,
Lamar Jackson.
We've done that before. Right, but like the job he's doing is still amazing. He doesn't have their resources. It's incredible what he's doing. Did any of us think before the season that the Brewers were going to be the best team in the National League? No. There's even still a narrative there.
I had them as a wild card.
Yeah, sure. We thought they were going to be good.
You didn't have them in the playoffs, it looks like.
Yeah, I buy that.
Stan did not have them in the playoffs.
Yeah. What are we...
Stand up as a wild card.
Oh, so I'm the only idiot is what you're saying?
Idiot.
Well, but you're not getting that point.
I run as a wild card. Yeah.
You're not but you're not getting that point.
The Cubs might,
Yeah,
PCA
I'm
wants
so
this
sure.
MVP. He's going to have to be a freaking planet carrier.
You're not getting that point. All right. Do you want to be the Minuteman today? Do you want to? I threw a party, and Griffin was having such a good time that he was watching a preseason football stream on his phone.
I had to.
No, you didn't have to.
Tyler Loop made his field goals.
There you go. So it's all settled. We're all good now.
I mean, because he made a 40. No, I mean, and then 2 minutes later, Bucker made a 60.
You have 30 seconds. Tell me something that mattered.
Well, let's see. Ethan Postich got a lot of play at center, and it didn't. I mean, I think it was more about survival. I don't like that you're counting in front of me. This is making it tough. It was more about survival with Ethan Postich, like making sure he could handle like a full workload, and I think he played like 2.5 quarters or something. That mattered. Silas Walters' big fumble recovery late in the game after he kind of got burned by Ty Felton early on, so that was. So he needed to come back for that. Eka
30. All right.
Eckley had some really nice punts.
Great.
He actually looked very good. The new rookie punter.
Here's what I have to say about it. By the way, apparently Jesse Minter today confirmed that it was going to be season-ending.
Jacoby Lane's legit as well.
Okay. For Danny Pinter. So, we kind of knew that last week.
Yeah, I guess we never talked about Rashad Bateman.
Oh, we didn't, did we?
Yeah. Well, it happened Friday afternoon, so yeah.
Holy smokes, we didn't.
Yeah. So that's.
Okay, so look, I have no problem saying this. If the allegations against Rashad Bateman are true, that's awful. It's awful. I do not feel that there's room in here for me to have multiple opinions and have a nuanced conversation. I have said all along, if someone is violent towards a woman or domestic violence, sexual assault, I don't want them on my team. This is difficult because what led to the arrest is this allegation that he destroyed a windshield with the child in the car. And that is not okay. Period. Not okay. The secondary allegation here is the one that involves him, that there was a bruise on her face that wasn't from this and may have occurred in an earlier. The way that it was written was like an insinuation that he was responsible for it, but not just saying that, which makes it even stranger still. The Ravens, let's handle it on every level. The Ravens very clearly no longer have a zero tolerance policy. In making it clear, they would suggest they never actually had a zero tolerance policy. That it was always situational, which, again, if there is a situation, then it can't be zero tolerance, right? That's kind of how the word zero tolerance work. If it's zero tolerance, then there's no tolerance. It's not, hey, based on a certain situation, we might be able to tolerate it. They clearly don't have a zero tolerance policy any longer. They will likely still make choices and judgments based on specifics. Among those specifics, whether we like it or not, is talent. And as I've said before, I don't know what they would have done about Justin Tucker had that story come out a year earlier, when Justin Tucker was still seemingly in the prime of his career. I'd like to think that the totality of it would have been enough for them to say it doesn't matter, but then you have to get into questions about what did they know, who knew it, and when did they know it. And that becomes a difficult, look at what would they have done. Somebody might say, my gut tells me they knew more than they put on that they knew, and they weren't doing anything. Circumstances matter. The circumstances also matter in how much information do you get. There's a police report, but when they go to prosecute this, the parties involved say we have no interest in participating in the prosecution, then it becomes more difficult to make personnel decisions without there being legal backing. It's tough. It doesn't mean it can't be done. At the same point, Justin Tucker was never arrested. He was never found guilty of anything. But they were able to make that decision. But like with Zay Flowers, for example, that's a situation that we've kind of conveniently all just sort of moved on from, pretend it never happened, because it was difficult for them to really get any information. There was kind of a little bit of a he said, she said, and they never really did any better than that. And so everybody just moved on, and Zay Flowers is a beloved figure in this city. If there's credible evidence that Rashad Bateman was responsible for bruising to his partner's face, he should be suspended. The Ravens should think about it. I can't tell you what the correct answer is. I can tell you that if you're violent towards a woman, I know how I feel. It's not okay. I'm still capable of analyzing someone as a football player. Beyond that, I don't know how I feel. I said all along, my barometer was like, it was easy for me to feel a way about Antonio Brown. We had a text message from him where he admitted to sexually assaulting a woman. That's it. I never wanted him to be a Baltimore Raven before he lost his mind otherwise, before any of that stuff. When he was still presumably good at football and the Ravens had his cousin on the team and everybody wanted him to come here, I had zero interest. None. But it was right in front of you. It would have required me to plausibly deny something I couldn't plausibly deny. This doesn't look good. The other action isn't okay. There's room for gray area there. Like, is it possible that you didn't know where your child was when you struck a car? I don't know. It's possible. It's possible that you didn't think you were putting your child in danger when allegedly, this action occurred. It's possible. It's really tough to think about if you knew. Like that's really hard to come back from. But my opinion and what the Ravens or the NFL does, those are separate things. The Ravens will do their own investigation. The NFL will ostensibly do an investigation and make a decision. And, whatever comes from that will be what it is. Life is obviously more important than football. And so, I hope that all of these parties are fine. I hope that it's not true. Let's start with that. I hope that it's not true because it's a terrible thing.
Which they have denied it.
Yeah, right? I hope that it's not true. Because nobody wants that to be a thing that occurred. Who would want that? If it is true, it's awful. If it is true, there's still room for there to be elements of, here's what happened, here's how it was reported. Maybe that wasn't fully exactly what happened. There's room for a lot of that. It's why it's easier for most people to choose not to talk about it. Didn't come up on WBAL today. It's easier to just not discuss it. Let's just discuss football. But we have to continue to if these alleged acts are true, they are wholly and completely and wildly unacceptable. Both of them. To me, I would prefer the football players that I root for, or my team that play on the team that I root for, to be guys that didn't do these types of things specifically. Not choir boys, not, like you get into a bar fight, I have a different conversation or feeling about that. And I'm not condemning because I don't know. I don't know enough to know. Again, none of this can be clipped because all of it sounds like I think I don't know. I don't. I'm acknowledging that. But it's out there, and the Ravens have to take it seriously, and the NFL has to take it seriously. And I hope they will. And the other part of it where, inevitably one of you and a couple of you mentioned it to me over the weekend where you say, maybe should have signed Keenan Allen. And I don't say this to be traitor, to try to be like I told you so, because by God, this is not that. I say choosing to wait until something happens to consider signing a player is a terrible policy. Because in the time that you're waiting, players sign elsewhere. It's never a problem to have too much depth at a position. If that costs you somebody that might be a semi-helpful piece, that sucks. But, you can live with that if the guys that you have are really good. I'd be surprised if there's any judgment in this situation anytime soon, unless it's just, everything's dropped, which in a lot of these cases tends to be how it works. I don't know when that time frame will be for the NFL and what they do about it. I'm not sure. Boy, a lot of fun. Glad you brought it up.
Well, you asked me what happened.
No, we didn't.
I got to the receiver room, and then I was like, oh, that's right. There was a big thing that happened.
There was a big thing that happened. We're all walking on eggshells whenever we discuss it because it's important. Like, Rashad Bateman deserves the right to you're innocent until proven guilty. Like, that is the way it works in this country. But the NFL has to make decisions that go beyond just legal decisions. And so they've got to do their own investigation and get their own answers. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out in both instances. I assume the Ravens are going to operate business as usual until
was that practice today?
They can't.
Passes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just what they're going to do. And I think that's sort of what they're going to be moving forward. And they're going to say, well, that's how most of the NFL operates. So we're going to operate the same way. Cool, neato. Maybe we should talk about Ethan Bruce. Let's talk about Joe Fagnano.
Oh, Ethan Burke.
Oh, what did I say?
Bruce.
Oh, did I? Why did I say Ethan Bruce? Who's Ethan Bruce?
Because you don't know. You don't watch football. You don't.
Yeah, that's me. I don't watch football.
Yeah, Ethan Burke. Ethan Burke making plays.
That's lacrosse legend Ethan Burke.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Lacrosse legend. Was once committed to play lacrosse at Maryland, believe it or not.
But yeah, Joey Fagnano. Maybe he should be the starter.
No. I said this earlier today. Like I don't think there's a roster spot for either one of them. I just don't see it. I specifically don't see it.
You hope, I guess, Fagnano can make the practice.
Yes.
He'd have to clear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd be
So.
stunned if he didn't.
Unless Todd Monken's like, let me stick it to the Ravens.
Yeah. There we go. I'd be stunned if he didn't clear.
Or Harbaugh does that.
And you couldn't put him on the practice squad. Like, is it possible that down the road, that's somebody that could be like when there's a lot of quarterback injuries at some point during the season that a team is just like, well, who looked good in camp this year, and they try to find that guy. But right now, it'd be shocking if you couldn't get him onto you can get him on the practice squad.
The big questions, I guess, are because Ali and Adam Randall, neither of them played, and I think they're both dealing with little nagging injuries. So I guess the question would be if one of them starts on IR, so then you can carry a 10th offensive lineman, or if they decide to carry 4 running backs anyway. Those are the
Well, and the other thing too, and I don't remember who said it. Maybe
the 4th linebacker.
Somebody, maybe Jameson. Somebody did their roster mock this weekend and mentioned like, hey, the Ravens don't have. It's not like baseball where you have to have 25 and 25.
Yeah, true.
But like, it's just kind of worked out that way in recent years. The other question is, do they say, hey, well, it doesn't need to be 25-25 because we can just use some practice squad call-ups on extra defensive or offensive players? So, I don't know. We'll see. But yes, I still just don't see it with a quarterback. I don't see the quarterback being the guy that gets a roster spot.
Yeah, one of the 53. Yeah.
I'd be shocked by that. Like, keep him around by all means, but putting him on the roster, that's kind of wild to me, man. Like, that would be a really wild decision.
He was going against backups, but Mike Green looked good.
Okay. Can't hurt, but doesn't mean anything. Anything else? Oh, Venga Ioane got a penalty.
That's right.
It's over. It's over. Man, this guy
made
stinks.
the wrong pick.
All right, we'll come back in. We'll get a tidbit and tubular to wrap it up. Glenn Clark Radio.
Don't fumble your fantasy football draft. Host your party at Sports and Social Inside Live Casino. We've got everything you need to make the night a winner with massive screens, cool drinks, great food, and Wi-Fi that won't drop the ball. Reserve your table by August 20th to enter our early draft bonus drawing. Draft like a pro at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnken. If you've been injured in a car or truck crash, you probably know this is stressful. Medical bills, the insurance company giving you the runaround, you got to get your car fixed. You don't just need a lawyer, you need results. At Warnken LLC, we represent the injured across Maryland. Whether it's a car or truck crash case, medical malpractice, or any other serious personal injury, we fight for maximum compensation for you and maximum ease for you. You don't want to have to deal with this stuff. Warnken LLC has been voted best personal injury law firm in Maryland for a reason. For us, 443 Results isn't just a phone number, it's our mission. Get the advocate that you need. Call us today, 443 Results, or visit us online, warnkenlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, when you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right. Because, of course, in the time since we started the show, apparently TMZ got a copy of the police report.
Oh.
This is from TMZ. I'll just read it. According to a police report obtained by TMZ, the Baltimore Ravens wide receiver's girlfriend, Marissa Crumley, told officers an argument erupted at around 3:30 a.m. on June 3rd. She claimed they were fighting over her past, with Bateman allegedly calling her a liar. Crumley told cops Bateman pushed her into a corner wall, leaving her with facial contusions. She said he later told her to pack her things and leave the home. Look, there's a lot of room in there, like how, push somebody into a wall, facial contusion. I mean to say that, like, it doesn't read the same as, like, someone just striking, right? But there's just a lot. It's hard to know how violent that is, and certainly violent enough that, it did mark the face, but it is a little bit different than a strike. A strike is a line of no return to me. This is, I don't know. It just reads a little bit different than, and maybe explains why there was some gray area about how that occurred. She claims after she left with her daughter, Crumley said Bateman repeatedly called and texted, allegedly threatening to put her dog out on the street because he was upset about not being able to say goodbye to the kid. The report says the two then agreed to meet. Cops say Bateman arrived in a black SUV with a driver, tried to puncture Crumley's rear tire with a screwdriver, and then used the tool to repeatedly strike her windshield and driver's side window. As TMZ previously reported, cops say that the shattered glass from the window caused cuts to Crumley's face. Though the report states EMS found no apparent injuries, both mother and child were taken to a hospital. So that is the police report, and that is what they will work with, and the Ravens and the NFL will work with as they decide what it is to do in this situation. There's no good way to just move on. So let's just move on.
All right.
There's just no way to transition appropriately. Stan the Fan coming up shortly, talking baseball. He, Ross, and Luke, they do it every Monday. It's brought to you by Warnken Law, as well as the Costas Inn with two great locations, the OG in Dundalk, the new one in Timonium. Stan the Fan, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson will be talking baseball coming up shortly in these same locations, facebook.com/PressBoxSports included. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by the print issue of PressBox. It is available for free at your Baltimore area Heinz Dairy stores, anywhere around town where you find PressBox. You can read it all, PressBoxOnline.com. On the cover, you see noted Eminem karaoke performer Jesse Minter, who is the new head coach of the Baltimore Ravens as well. You might not be aware of that. And who's trying to do something that just hasn't happened much, which is win a Super Bowl as a rookie head coach. And so a great cover story about that, plus lots on college football, college soccer inside this print issue of PressBox. Now available at your Baltimore area Heinz Dairy stores for free, and read it for free, PressBoxOnline.com.
There are two players in Major League Baseball history to hit a leadoff home run and then a walk-off homer in that same game, and then I hit a leadoff homer the very next game.
Wait, say that again.
Twice has it ever happened. Leadoff home run, you lead off the game.
Yeah.
Home run. Same game, walk-off home run. You win the game, walk-off. That's what a walk-off means. Is that the part that you got hung up on? What's a walk-off?
Ricky Henderson.
And then the very next day,
no, it's too much. Too much. You've gone too far. Just that part alone was enough. And lead off and walk off. I'll stick with Ricky.
Lead off, walk off, lead off.
Yeah.
No. It's only happened twice. Once was Saturday night into yesterday.
No, I don't know.
I did it
I don't
yesterday.
know. I don't know who
Saturday,
did it.
over the weekend.
Saturday. I don't know.
Randy Rosarena.
Sure he did.
So then the first one to do this was last Monday, Pete Crow Armstrong.
How about it?
For the
How
for the
about
Cubbies.
it?
And then,
How about it?
Yeah. I didn't have. I don't know. That was the best one. Do you want a completely random one then?
Okay.
Who has the most seasons played in NBA history of 82 starts? They played all 82 games. Who has the most seasons? There are 4 guys who have done this double digit.
Why did you?
I told you it was random. This is the grab bag. I didn't have a full. There was no good. No timely tidbit that popped up over the weekend. So this is what you get.
Well, they can't be modern guys because nobody in the modern NBA plays 82 games.
That is correct.
I'm trying to feel like when I'm assuming the 90s is sort of the end of this. And when did they start playing 82 games in the NBA? Do we have that answer?
68.
So it all had to happen between 68 and like 2000.
1967, yeah. So that was the first, the 67-68 season.
I'm also going to assume that it can't be like big men because those guys are more likely to get injured because of their knee. Okay, so that's not the case. Not the case. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
No, not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay.
Maybe he's a little too big.
Okay, so when I said big men, I meant centers. Like, I didn't think the centers could be.
I guess this guy, I mean, he probably plays center a little bit, but no, this guy, I guess, technically not a center. I mean, you know.
Power forward.
Yeah,
Tim Duncan.
Not Tim Duncan.
Charles Barkley.
Not Charles Barkley.
Karl Malone.
Karl Malone, 10-plus seasons. That is tied for third. 10 seasons of 82 starts.
Are there other big men on the list? Are there other power forwards on the list? You would just think that it's a lot to ask of the knees of a center to play 82 games. So guards now.
Yeah, guards.
Michael Jordan.
Two of them you might not be. Well, I guess this guy wasn't quite. He was nicknamed the Iron Man of basketball.
Okay.
He has the record for most consecutive regular season games played. 1,192.
AC Green?
AC Green.
I guess I should have guessed
10
that.
as well. Or, yeah. Hold on, I clicked out of it. He's second. 14 seasons.
Okay.
14 seasons of 82 games played.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, I believe, only 9.
What a pathetic loser.
This is your GOAT?
Yeah.
Because LeBron, obviously.
LeBron would never.
Yeah.
Like, literally never. I don't know.
Another one, he played 906 straight games. And he was
I definitely just know that.
Yeah, he was a shooting guard. Yeah, he was a 7th-round pick in 1971.
Oh, he was a 7th-round pick in 1971?
Yeah,
oh, good. I actually know the entire 1971 NBA draft.
Oh, okay, good.
But specifically only the 7th round of the 19th. Actually, I was more of a 5th-round guy in 1971.
Oh, okay.
I have no earthly idea.
He was the All-Star Game MVP in 1978. What? He was a 2-time NCAA Soccer All-American.
Oh, Randy Smith.
Yeah.
Randy Smith.
That was the hit that got it for you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many guys?
I mean, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I had never heard of him. Buffalo State?
Yeah.
Buff State?
Yeah.
He also played 10 seasons, tied with Karl Malone.
Okay.
82. And then who is number 1 on this one? This one, I'm not giving you it, so you should. This guy you should know.
I should know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you know who he is, but.
I know who he is, and I should know. Scottie Pippen.
Not Scottie Pippen.
Reggie Miller.
Not Reggie Miller.
Gary Payton.
Gary Payton had 9, tied with
Clyde
tied with
Drexler.
MJ. Not Clyde.
All right, I'm out. I tried. Magic Johnson.
Point guard.
Jason Kidd.
Not Jason.
Steve
Kidd.
Nash.
Not Steve.
John
Nash.
Stockton.
No. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, John Stockton. Yeah. What?
What
said no. Yeah, I was looking. So I scrolled down. So someone shared the active list.
What in the F just happened?
Yeah, no, you got it, John Stockton. No, well, I corrected myself immediately. I was like, wait, no, you just said John Stockton.
I was about to actually say Gary Payton again. I was about to repeat Gary Payton.
16 seasons with 82 games played. I scrolled right down, like right as you were rattling off names,
That's
and I was
hilarious.
like, you're not getting it. And then they gave the active. Who's the active leader?
That's so funny. That is so funny. And who's the active leader?
Yeah.
Who is?
Oh, you're not going to guess?
No.
Mikal Bridges.
Sure.
Sure he is. 6 seasons.
I can't believe
games.
I can't believe there's anybody who's played 6 82-game seasons in modern basketball. All right, very good. Let's get tubular.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, here's what's coming up tubular-wise this evening. Nothing. What? Orioles are off.
It's Big Monday.
Yeah?
means we got a big college basketball game.
They don't.
Right?
Orioles are off. Maryland soccer, they're a top 10 team. They play tonight against New Haven at 7 o'clock on Big Ten Network Plus. And everything else you can find at glennclarkradio.com.
All right.
Non-sports?
New episode of Always Sunny, and I think that's also
When did they make Sunny a Monday night thing?
I don't know. I don't think it ever.
I'll look forward to watching that at the gym.
I feel like it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday thing. NFL Hometown Eats.
Oh, hell yeah.
On the Roku channel.
Everybody knows that's hosted by
Eva Longoria.
Sure.
As well as
Because
DeMarcus
when you think
Ware.
NFL, you think Eva Longoria.
Joel McHale will be involved.
He's probably
so Eva
because they probably
Longoria.
do it.
Okay, so it looks like it's like teams.
I'm
That's what it
guessing
looks
that.
like. Yeah,
Because Joel McHale's a huge Seahawks fan.
Yeah. McHale and Devin Witherspoon.
Uh-huh.
And then Rebel Wilson and Devontae Adams are teamed up. And Eva
Because
Longoria.
Rebel Wilson, known Rams fan. Everybody knows that about her.
Explore that. Well, Brenda Song obviously as well. Maybe yeah,
she was sitting in on the broadcast.
They explore the best restaurants around each player's home stadium. Okay, so it's not even like a contest. They're just like, hey,
like you go have a
good
meal
food
in
here.
Seattle with Devin
With
Witherspoon.
with Joel McHale.
Sure. Get right on that.
Okay.
Anything else?
No. American Ninja Warrior.
That it?
Beat Shazam on Fox.
Ah, hell yeah, it's back.
New episode
baby.
of All American on CW. I think it's the final season. Of
Thanks
CW.
today to Trey Mancini. That was great.
Dancing
Thanks
with
to
the Stars, the next pro.
Sure. Thanks to Brad Brach.
I think what's his face? Robert Irwin hosted that.
We'll get that up in the greatest hits section of the.
Not a lot of options. Fallon or not Fallon. Kimmel's the only one, and Kimmel's not even there. It's the guest host this week. Your favorite, Jelly Roll.
Oh hell yeah! And his guests are.
Today it is a guy I've never heard of, Jay Shetty, but Glenn Powell. Jay Shetty and Glenn Powell.
It's a no. Like let's make that very.
Jelly Roll
clear.
and Glenn Powell.
I like Glenn Powell fine, and
Jelly Roll did a song on the Twisters.
Yeah, Jelly Roll unfortunately drags it down. Also, kind of an awkward time for old Jelly Roll, right? Like,
why? What happened to Jelly? What did I miss?
He's getting divorced.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, you didn't. What are you?
He lost too much weight. Is that?
How are you the only human being on the face of the planet that somehow doesn't know that? People are making fun of me because I don't really know "Choosing Texas." It's just not a song I'd actually heard.
It's a pretty good song.
It's fine. It couldn't be more fine. But how did you not know Jelly Roll getting divorced was like the?
Well, because he's a WWE star and you're in a WWE.
Yeah, that's
why he's on your radar.
Somehow, also, my entire algorithm was. Are you familiar with the internet celebrity couple Dalton and Sacco?
How do you spell Sacco?
Sako.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
My entire feed for like the last couple of days has been about. I guess they broke up, and I'm like, what? Why do I care? But they are apparently very famous, and lots of people are talking about Dalton and Sacco.
Andy Dalton?
Not Andy Dalton. Some guy named Dalton.
Sacco responded to Dalton.
Yeah, it's a whole
Dalton,
deal, baby.
Dalton shares bad news about Sacco.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now.
Oh, they're like an OnlyFans couple?
I don't know. I don't Griffin, I don't know.
Oh, that's from May. That's from May. That's
but they
this
are
weekend.
very well known and apparently very successful.
Dalton shares bad.
And lots of people talking about Dalton and Sacco. It's a whole deal, baby. I got nothing on it. It could not be more of a
posting your whole conversation. So Dalton. Oh wait, this is his friend. That's his friend. What the hell?
Right.
Look at you. See what this guy
Brother.
looks like? You've probably seen this guy.
Who? Which one? Dalton?
He's got it's one of their friends apparently.
I have not seen any of their friends.
Oh, no,
Who?
I don't know what his name is.
I don't know.
But he's got the weirdest tat. He's got like eyes.
Well, the guy Dalton is covered in tattoos.
Yeah, but his are like normal tattoos. Like they're.
You say so.
People are.
I don't know. I don't know what normal is.
Look at what this guy looks like. Just wait for like the close up when he like.
And what does he have to do with the story?
Apparently, he's the friend of Dalton, I think.
But like, is he on somebody's side? Is he?
Yeah, I guess so. He like shared a private conversation that he had with him. Look at his eyes. Why he looks freaky.
Weird.
He looks freaky.
All right. Anyway, whatever. That happened. Oh, we never did talk about the fact that the star of the pig roast this weekend, by accident, Griffin was beneficial or did add something to the party.
This is that guy that I was talking about for everybody.
I'm good.
Yeah, well, we talked about it. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
good.
share it, so. Yeah, that was probably my best. The best part was probably playing some Can Jam with Jimmy.
Well, you drafted a new partner
That's
when
true.
you.
I did. Have to
Griffin
draft a new partner.
Griffin left,
I
departed,
couldn't stay all day.
rolled, said, "I'd rather be doing anything than spending time socially with friends."
It's not true. I was there for a while.
I'm sure.
What do you mean sure?
I'm so sure.
You remember you being there?
I remember you being there. I remember you leaving after one round of Can Jam. You played one round of Can Jam and said, "That's going to be enough for me. I've had enough day today. Thank you kindly." And
I did say thank you kindly.
He replaced himself on his Can Jam team with Mike Bordy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I did.
And Bordy, as it turns out, takes Can Jam as seriously as he took playing the shortstop position. Because Bordy was diving into bushes.
Oh, my God.
Was
really?
laying out.
Bordy was great.
Bordy was all over the place.
Did they win?
No. Well, they won their first match.
Okay.
And then they had to face us. And it got tight. I mean, like, it was Jimmy is a former champion. Jimmy is a 2-time former champion with me of the tournament. So he had a good partner. But Bordy's he's like purposely diving before the frisbee's even thrown. Like, he can't help himself. This is just how he goes. This is what This is what he's used to. We all remember this is how he played. He's a dirtbag. Like, that's who he is. And so we win. It's a 3-game series, of course.
Of course.
We win game 1. They take game 2. We very rarely dropped even a set, like, over the years, John and I. Mr. Gatsby and I. And it gets to, like, it's 20-19 late. They score, make it 21-19. We've got to get back-to-back ones to force overtime. We get them. All's good, right? Like, so we got to go to overtime where you go to 17-17. They quickly get a 3 and a 1, get back to 21. So we got to match it. We got to get the 3 and the 1. We force double overtime.
Oh, my goodness.
Double overtime. Bordy with a great throw gets the 3. They just need the 1 to get back safely to 21.
Jimmy choke?
No, gave him a great ball. Bordy just missed it.
Oh.
And it may be because he couldn't lay out for it, right? Like, it was right there. It was right perfectly behind the can to just push it. Because you always want it behind the can in that situation because you don't want to accidentally push it into the can.
Sure.
So you want to have the back side of the can to work with to make sure you get your point. Bordy whiffed.
Wow.
Choked in the big moment.
Man.
Choked. And we, of course, got our 3 in a row.
If I was there,
and we won. It was a dramatic. It was by far the highlight of the day. I mean,
like the
of
semifinal
the
or
Can
the
Jam.
quarterfinal?
It proved to be the semifinals because when Bordy found out that there was a losers bracket, he said, "I'm in the losers bracket." No. Refused to participate.
He said we lost.
I'm going to lose with dignity. There's no losers bracket here. It was wild. It was a great scene. It was awesome. But that was your finest addition, is that you drafted Bordy to be your replacement for the team, so we got to watch him fly all over the place.
I always say, if I have to bail on the team,
yeah, right.
Like
you
Mike Bordy.
You better replace it with an all-star. You better replace it with an Orioles Hall of Famer. Yeah, great day all around. Appreciate those who came out. All right, thanks today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. For the 5 minutes that you were there.
I was there for
thanks to Brad Brach. Thanks to Trey Mancini. We'll get it up in the greatest hits. We already did that part.
Yeah, the Jelly Roll.
Tomorrow on the program, Pete Shinnick will join us. We'll preview Towson football. Another 3 o'clock start tomorrow. Towson football coach Pete Shinnick. They kick off their season Thursday night.
Yeah.
No one in the country is playing earlier than Towson is. 6 o'clock Thursday night. I think the family and I are going to go to the game.
Ooh.
In fact, I think we're going to make.
I was going to stop by too.
I think we're going to do that. Anything else?
Yeah, stuff and things.
Stuff and things. Yeah. Stuff and things on the program tomorrow. Thanks, everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel, the Baltimore Orioles, the Costas Inn, your Baltimore area High's Dairy Stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warnken Law, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Cruise Maryland, CountySports.zone, the Maryland Department of Health, your local Toyota dealer, and buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday evening. Go Maryland Soccer. Duke sucks.